We are live.
Yay!
Friends, hi, my name is Mia of Mia's Virtual Vanity, a place where we love makeup and we're quite critical of it. And I am with my friend Mariam, and we are going to roast some new makeup releases, the first video of this type for the year.
Hi everyone, I am super honored to be back on this channel and hopefully in a more roasty mood this time around.
I wanted to do something special for the first edition of the year, and I figured inviting Mariam, aka you, would be best because I really do enjoy your company and I really do enjoy your commentary. So if it was to be something special, why not have it be something special with friends?
Oh, that makes me even more special now and
I'm a
more
great ass
feeling like
kisser, aren't I?
you're very sweet. Thank you so much. Such an honor for me to roast stuff with you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. The honor is all mine. So let's start with this Chinese New Year craze. What do
My
you
lord.
what do you think of all of these brands coming out with so much Chinese New Year stuff?
This has been coming for a few years now. It was always a little bit more limited to, I don't know, Becca and MAC are pretty much the only brands that I can clearly remember from the past few years having this like Lunar New Year themed makeup. This year, they have gone bonkers. And if any of these brands actually gave a shit about, the cultural traditions behind it, and all these people to whom Lunar New Year actually means something, I'd be like, okay, let's do it. But this is just such a transparent marketing ploy.
I
No,
feel like
no.
they don't put any effort more than, oh, it's the color red and whatever animal is that here. On the other hand, I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't comment because I'm not Asian and Asian people deserve things catered to them as well. And on the other hand, I have had actual Asian people tell me, no, this annoys us because it's exploitative and they don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's what I think it is, unfortunately. Because, okay, to be fair, I don't have that many Asian people in my surrounding who are also really huge fans of makeup, but I haven't heard anyone around me in that little subgroup who's like, oh, I'm so excited for this such and such product that's, targeted towards me and my culture. No.
Comparatively. Let's take a look at Christmas editions or
Mm-hmm.
Easter collections. I mean, they don't care about those holidays either. So,
True.
in that sense, I think we're all getting equal opportunity to have our religions and cultures exhorted for money, but it's
True.
not pleasant.
No, it's just, and it's also just really, really lazy. Can't you figure out something else to be inspired by? I'm just so over the Lunar New Year makeup releases that have nothing to do with Lunar New Year, but are just another marketing ploy to make us spend money on shit we don't need. Or worse, repackage shit we already have, but with Lunar New Year packaging.
The girls at Beauty News made a good point about it. They said that the majority of people get gifts for Lunar New Year, so it would make sense for the brands to put stuff they already have, their hero products or fancy stuff, because then that person that gets the gift is introduced to a good version of the brand. But on the other hand, it's bad for people that actually are a bit more makeup savvy and they can see the lack of uniqueness
Mm,
in everything.
that is a good point. It's a fair point. And I'm really happy if the people towards whom this is targeted, so everyone who celebrates sees something in these collections that really speaks to them and they get it and it means something to them. That's fantastic. But for all of us other people, I don't think any of us should be spending money on this.
Let's just go really quick through them.
Let's.
First one is the Too Faced highlighter, which is one of their previous shades. It's like the diamond thing.
Mhm.
I would like the packaging if it weren't for that pink mouse that is just the tackiest shit I have ever seen in my life.
I know, right? It looks so childish. I mean, I know Two Faced always like balances on the border between too childish and okay, we'll get away with it, but this time it's beyond childish.
Yeah,
So
but I don't understand why it's pink. Like, even if it were this childishly drawn or with a gold, with a white, with a black, I think it would have looked better, but it's ugly.
yeah, true. I don't know. It's an odd choice. Correct me if I'm mistaken. Isn't that highlighter already exists in their
Yeah.
collection? It's just repackaged in this childish packaging.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. No, Too Faced. No, Jared. Come on, be serious. I have images of Jared sitting in like the headquarters of Too Faced with like his board of directors, and sometimes I truly think his board of directors is a bunch of 5-year-olds.
Other that or a bunch of ass kissers. Yes, men.
Okay, my vision is much funnier because it's like a bunch of 5-year-olds running around like in complete chaos, and they shout out random ideas to Jared, and he's like, "Oh, that is a fantastic idea. Let me put that on the makeup packaging."
Oh man, did you see that Two Faced got this close to getting cancelled, boycotted, and everything else?
Oh no, I've missed it again. Sorry.
Oh
No, what
God,
happened?
let me get you up to speed because people are gonna point it out in the comments anyway, since we got to Two Faced. So
Okay.
what happened is that Nikki Tutorials came out as transgender, uh,
Yes.
male to female,
Mm-hmm.
and Jared Bandinos, whatever the hell his name is, Two Face CEO,
Mm-hmm.
his sister decided to be a transphobic piece of shit, and
Oh,
she put in her Twitter bio something like, or an Instagram bio, she put something like, transgender, huh? That's not the only thing she lied about.
Jesus Christ! Really?
Yeah, and she's like an
Oh.
employee of the company. So everybody started like the hashtag boycott Two Faced was trending, imagine. And everybody was like, well, they better fucking put a statement out and fire her ass because otherwise we're not buying from them anymore.
Yeah, that is really shitty. That is such an incredibly shitty move.
Second day, Jared and Two Face put out a statement saying, "Listen, my sister is an idiot. I'm sorry. She does not speak for me, and she's fired."
Okay, well that's good call.
Yeah, truly good call. Because what a mess. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, okay, you can't keep your mouth shut for the sake of being a decent human being, but you would think that they would keep their mouths shut in the name of profit and business, because they must know it's bad for business to be this messy.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently they haven't learned their lesson yet, because why would they? It's so much more fun to have your brand cancelled every 3 months.
Yeah, true. Okay, on to more brighter things, literally. So there's these two highlighters. We've got from Clinique, which with
Yeah.
this Disney Mickey Mouse thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then a Becca highlighter, which is an existing shade. The Clinique one, I think, is a new shade.
Mm-hmm.
The Becca highlighter, I think it's cuter. I think the engraving is a bit more sophisticated
I
than
was going
the
to say the
Clinique.
same. The Becca highlighter is just, it's a bit more exquisite. It's a bit more adult appropriate, if you will. And I much rather like it than the Clinique one. The Clinique one looks also really childish. The embossing looks really childish.
You can do so many things that fit the theme and not have it look like a Disney souvenir.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Okay, let's talk about your favorite Mother Pat.
Oh, mother. Let's
What
talk
do you
about
what do
mother.
you think of this New Year mothership?
So I have no interest in this eyeshadow palette, and I'm a big on mother. So normally I would have been really interested in this release, but first of all, I'm a bit overdosed on mother at this point, and second of all, this palette looks a lot like the two Star Wars palette that she just came out with, like a mix of the two in terms of shades. So, and because I personally got what I wanted from the Star Wars release, I am not interested in this palette because it offers nothing new to the table into my Pat McGrath collection. But I think for people who missed out on the Star Wars release, this may be a good way to sort of compensate, because I know this palette is not as limited as the previous releases have been. And in terms of exploiting the Lunar New Year thing, I figure something is going on with, whoever is directing the marketing at Pat McGrath Labs, because shit has been different the last few months. So lukewarm towards this release, but I can imagine if the market to which this is targeted are interested in it. The color story is really pretty.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, I think it's a good color story for someone that maybe doesn't have a lot of makeup. So
mm-hmm,
good luxury gift to give to a wife, a sister, a mother, a cousin,
mm-hmm,
something that's obviously expensive and
mm-hmm.
will be well appreciated and that
Yeah,
they would wear because it's got lots of neutrals, you know?
yeah, yeah.
But
I think
not
it's
for
it's
someone that already has a lot of Pat McGrath.
No, this is I know people who have bought this even though they own everything from Pat McGrath, so they have like, yeah, to them this brings not much new to the table. But I think the packaging is beautiful because Pat makes beautiful packaging, let's just be honest. The color story is very appropriate for also for her lineup, and I think if you want to give a luxury present to someone to whom Lunar New Year means a lot, absolutely, way to go.
Then we've got Colourpop, which has three matte, blurry, moussey type of lipsticks in different shades of reds,
Hmm.
few super shock shadows, and then a white tea face milk.
It's fine. I don't, I'm not overjoyed or jumping with enthusiasm to buy it. And once again, I see some very childish looking mice on the packaging.
I mean, yeah, but it's Colourpop. At price point, you can't really be mad because teenagers also buy it.
True. And I think actually the lip set is really cute.
Oh yeah, definitely. I like the little ginkgo biloba like looking leaf and the gold foil.
Yeah, yeah.
Cute.
I think Colourpop, we all know Colourpop releases something every 40 minutes. Of course, they're going to release something for Lunar New Year. I
I
think it's
think it's the
appropriate for
first
the brand.
time.
It's fine. Yeah, for sure. For a lot of these brands, it's the first time to be putting out something for this particular holiday. But I think a lot of them caught up on, oh, this is something we can cash in on. Let's join the party.
It's true. And
Oh.
there's these two luxury releases. So Charlotte Tilbury put out one of her magic creams and an existing lipstick shade. And then we've got Laura Mercier, who has also a lipstick and a powder in
Mm-hmm.
special New Year's packaging. I think these make cute gifts. And
Mm-hmm.
if I were to get anything in special New Year's packaging, it would
Mm-hmm.
probably be one of the cream or the powder because
Mm-hmm.
that packaging can be reused. I like to reuse cream jars to like put small stud earrings in it. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, it would have an element of practicality, but it's kind of lazy as far as innovation goes.
Oh, for sure, it's lazy. But like you said, there might be a reason for putting out their classics into the special packaging. And I think both of these releases look really classy. I don't mind for whomever thinks that they would make great gifts or to someone or to themselves. I think they're actually quite beautiful.
So, next one, Urban Decay is coming out with yet another special edition all-nighter setting spray. They are milking this fucking setting spray to save their life. I think there's a setting spray for every season, turn of the moon, and alignment of the planets at this point. And then there's
Um,
some vinyl lip glosses, which I think look really pretty actually.
yeah, well, Urban Decay has a few cows that they like to milk, the all-nighter spray being one of them. Yeah, I think the glosses look actually quite beautiful, but the all-nighter setting spray is just. Does it have just like a little red um thingy stuck to it with the golden letters, and that's about it? That's special about it.
Yeah, it's just the packaging.
Yeah. Well,
Lazy.
they could do better. Urban Decay, you can do better. It's been a few years. Please do better.
Nah, but why do better when you can just cash in and make huge profit margins for minimum effort?
Because we, and when I say we, I mean myself. I have been waiting for Urban Decay to release something I desire already for 2.5 years.
You'll keep on waiting. They're really on the mediocre train and they don't plan on getting off anytime
It's
soon.
it just makes me really sad. The glosses are beautiful, but that's about it.
Yeah, and you can find these glosses everywhere. I mean, you can find similar shades at Kiko, Milano. You can find Colourpop glosses that are like that. It's nothing unique if you think about it.
Oh, of course not. A red gloss, groundbreaking.
So Fenty, which is like the hero of the makeup world at the moment, the prized child, the favorite, whatever,
They
they
can do
came
no
out with
wrong.
the laziest damn release that I have ever seen. It's just their already existing shade of Stunna lip paint,
Hmm.
and then their highlighter in Mean Money Hustla Baby,
So
which is
they didn't even try with the packaging. I see they just put it in special. The
yep.
like the actual box packaging is special. Goddamn, can you imagine if they had actually put the box, like the box that how the box looks like onto the packaging of that highlighter? That would have been stunning.
Or even if they would have just made the like the top of the lipstick, the metallic part, a
Mm-hmm.
matte red, a matte darker red to contrast with the lipstick, and
Mm-hmm.
then the packaging of the highlighter all matte red. It would have
Mm-hmm.
looked so striking. Colored Rain came out with something really interesting. It's
Oh yeah.
basically like an eyeshadow book.
Mm-hmm.
You've got magnetic palettes arranged in a book-like format, and it holds up to 72 traditional, like standard sized magnetic pans. And it also has numbered protective sheets and a mirror.
I saw this release and I was very intrigued by it. To be honest, if I didn't already have enough empty palettes that are filled with my single eyeshadows, and the fact that I don't no longer want to collect that many single eyeshadows because I don't use them enough, I would have been really interested in this. It is really expensive. If I'm not mistaken, it was over $40.
It's 42, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It is a bit on the expensive side, but I can also see how practical it is. Oh, well, practical on the one side, not so practical on the other side, because if you want to flip through these all the time to find shades in between all three, when you start using it, I can see how it's also not super practical.
And I also kind of dislike the fact that you are forced to basically use only standard pans, especially if you buy from indies or you depot stuff. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're not 100% guaranteed to only have pans that size, and it will look like shit
Mm-hmm.
when you just plop like a tiny Colourpop pan in the middle of an ocean of a big standard pan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To be honest, this is a nice release, but this is very targeted, very much towards people who collect a shit ton of single eyeshadows,
Oh yeah.
which is not that many people if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think they are, but just because we're in the community and we come
Mm-hmm.
across them.
Mm-hmm.
But if I look at real life at people nearby me, like not a lot of them have even a quarter of what I do, of
My
what I
goodness, most of the people around me would have a hard time filling up one of those pages.
Yeah, because most people look at makeup not necessarily as adornment or decoration. They look at it like grooming, like brushing their teeth, brushing their hair, putting clean clothes on. It's necessarily to polish them up a bit, not to express an inner feeling or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. We always forget that we are a very small percentage of the consumer base out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I think this is a nice release for a very small group of people.
Let's talk about these two Morphe ones. The Talkin, Flirty, and Making Banks, right? I think they're going in a good direction because I don't mind big palettes like these when you've got a variation. And here you actually have some color variation and an interesting color story.
True. I mean, I will never be the Morphe girl, but in terms of color stories, these are pretty cohesive. I don't mind them at all. There
Yeah,
could be a
they're
bit more
totally fun.
variety in some of the undertones because I look at these shades and sometimes I think, oh, these three look so much alike. I think on the eye they're going to look super similar. But at the same time, I think, okay, kudos for the color stories. They're nice, acceptable.
I honestly think that if Morphe could realize that if they make smaller palettes with better and more interesting color stories, they really could expand from their current market and start competing with Colourpop. Because if you think about it, they're both equally as cheap. Well, Morphe is more shady than Colourpop for sure. But in the end, the average teenager that just wants to get into makeup, they're not gonna, scour YouTube for all of the controversies that Morphe is ever gonna have. They're just gonna look at the palette and they're gonna be like, oh, is this interesting or not?
True, but for that to happen, they need to make a bit more effort in terms of packaging as well because
Oh, yeah.
Colourpop, for all the crap we give them for releasing something every 40 minutes, they also always seem like they've put at least some thought into what they're putting out, and the packaging is always on point from my point of view. The color selections in what they offer are also not always completely random. So Morphe will have to catch up a lot in that respect.
If you think about it like that, for Colourpop's packaging from a design point of view is baby's first packaging design for most of them. There are some that are truly spectacularly designed,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the stuff it's easy, simple. It's a simple Photoshop job what they're doing, but it's so on point and so well executed that even if it's basic, it just looks cohesive and nice.
Yeah, and that in combination with the cutesy names, like the 9 pan palettes, all of them had such cutesy names.
Yeah. If it doesn't feel as cheap as it is,
Mm-hmm.
just because it seems to have some thought behind it.
Yeah. And something else that distinguishes Morphe from Colourpop, if you don't mind me saying, I think Colourpop at least tries to be innovative with the type of products they put out.
Oh,
They put out
definitely.
a lot of really interesting product types on the market.
You can also see here that Colourpop was a brand that was homegrown, while
Mm-hmm.
Morphe was private labeled and then grew into being able to be an independent manufacturer for its own shit.
True.
Colourpop was always doing its own thing.
Mm-hmm. True. Morphe needs to catch up a bit, but if they wanted to, they could be really a good competition. They could give Colourpop a run for their money, for sure.
Yeah, but they're too lazy. Still more Morphe. Morphe's coming out with a collab with Pony, and it's this 35 Icy Fantasy palette, which is full of pastels, and
Mm-hmm.
it's driving me nuts because how dare Morphe personally attack my aesthetic like this when I told myself that I'm only allowed palettes once every 2 months.
You are into this palette?
I really am. Because it's full of pastels. It's really cute. And let me see if I can find the swatches and show them to you. Because it's not regular shimmers. Most of them seem to be sheer glitter toppers. Just
Oh,
the
that
kind
is
I
very
love.
much. That has Mia written all over it.
I know, right? Got these pops of pastels, of more saturated colors, and some glitter toppers, a glitter silver, some duochromes. Like you can seriously tell that there was someone at work, aka Pony, which is an
Hmm.
Asian makeup artist. Like you can really tell that there was someone else at work and not only Morphe doing whatever they do usually.
Yeah, that's cute. I don't know who Pony is. I must admit to that. I have absolutely no idea who this is. And for a pastel palette, this is actually quite nice. It's too big for my taste, and I am a little bit iffy with pastels because I think no one can ever quite get them right because they will always have a lot of white pigment. They will always look
Yeah,
a
that's true.
bit too, powdery, a bit dry on the lids. So I think I've come to the conclusion now, and I finally come to peace with the thought that as much as I like the idea of pastels, pastels just don't really agree with me and my skin.
Oh, that's fair. Something interesting, and this is a very indie release.
Mm-hmm.
So the brand Copacetic Cosmetics collabed with Basket Case Beauty on Instagram. I
Mm-hmm.
follow her. Her looks are absolutely gorgeous, and they
Mm-hmm.
created this Elysian palette,
Mm-hmm.
which has very saturated colors and then duochrome pigments.
Mm-hmm. That looks really beautiful, and also the whole layout of the palette is very interesting because you have like these little diagonals here of the matte shades, and you have the four shades surrounded, not surrounding, but like in between them. It's interesting.
It's so different from what we usually see, and it really looks like it was done. I want to make a palette that I love the look of, and not I want to make a palette that sells for everyone.
This is really going to speak to like a very certain type of people in the makeup community, but it is really beautiful. Those duochromes look stunning.
Oh, let's talk about the Colourpop releases because there's so fucking many.
Really? Jesus, I didn't notice. I only saw that pastel palette.
There's three, actually, okay, three new themes, but technically there's more products than that.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay, let's do that. Let's do it. We can do it. Let's power through Colourpop.
Oh God, it's like a Colourpop marathon. I'm burning calories just talking about Colourpop. The first one is this new It's All Good palette, 30 shades, $34. And why this caught my eye is because looking at it like laterally from the corner of my eye, it looks to be able to dupe both Natasha Denona's Sunset
Sunrise and
and
sunset.
Sunrise.
Yeah, that's my first thought as well.
For someone that wants that color scheme at a fraction of the price point, this would be a really good option. And it doesn't look that repetitive for how many shades it has.
Yeah. Is this Colourpop trying to be Morphe?
I mean, come on, let's not insult Colourpop like that. Even their big palettes have a certain variety and thought behind them.
Yeah.
They're not
No,
50 shades of brown.
for sure. To me personally, this is a better approach of duping the vibes of something than straight up duping palettes. Trying to, cater to people who might not be able to afford the Natasha Denona palette with similar color story. I like that.
And then the palettes that you mentioned, the Mint to Be.
Oh, this is so cute, and the name is killing me.
I like it as an object, and I like looking at it, but those shades make me look dead.
Honey, not only you, all of us.
I think
Which is
you
why
have
I
to have
like
like a certain skin tone to be able to pull those off. They're very pale, or you've got to have like a more, gotta be very cool toned for these.
Yeah,
I think.
you have to be like very pale, but like more on the cooler side indeed, for these to really do something for you. Because I theoretically love this palette, but I would look at it, I would admire it, I would think it's super cute, and I would use it once every 2 years. But for all of you guys, if you want a really nice, more pastel inspired palette, I would go with the Deuce from Juvia's Place.
Yeah,
Because
I like the Deuce, but I think that people that are used to the Colourpop formula might not enjoy the Juvia's formula as much as this.
yeah,
Because Colourpop's mattes I feel are more blendable and more less dry than Juvia's.
oh, okay. Well, I have to say the mattes in the Deuce palette particularly are not my favorites, but I think that is because they are trying to be more pastel, and everything pastel will have a lot of white pigment to it, and it will be a
Yeah.
pain in the ass to work with. So no matter which brand it is, if it's a pastel, it's going to be difficult to work with. But in terms of the shimmers, is what I
Oh
meant.
yeah,
People are attracted
gorgeous.
by the shimmers. The shimmer pastels in the Deuce palette are mwah, sublime. Because I've been thinking about my Deuce palette as well recently. Like, oh, I should really like pop it out and use it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it needs more love.
Definitely. All of my Juvia's Place palettes need more love.
I think for me, the problem with Juvia's is that I look at the palette and I don't immediately come up with ways to combine the colors in looks that aren't necessarily meant for Instagram or for YouTube. So what I end up using is I end up just taking one or two shimmers from the palette or one or two mattes from the palette and then using another palette. So they don't get as much use as something that's more easy for me to pull out in the morning for work.
I completely agree with you. And I think she's been kind of stepping away from those really random color selections. I don't know if you have the 4 new minis that she put out, but
Oh yeah, those are beautiful. We need to talk about those.
yeah, since the Tribe palette, I feel like she's been trying to make her color stories a bit more cohesive, and I really like that.
Let's talk about the minis after this last release from Colourpop.
Oh, that's Colourpop as
So
well. Okay.
yeah, there's these two new palettes. It's Blush Crush and Nude Mood, which has
Mm-hmm.
this beautiful floral packaging. I hate how they appeal to me so much.
Mm,
There's Super Shock highlighters and lip crayon bundles aside from those.
yeah,
What do
that
you
is
think?
really nice. And it's so nice now that spring is coming up and it's putting you in the mood for spring, especially that corally palette. Actually, both of them, they're really cute. I like them.
Like the color Coralie palette, I'm like, okay, I can easily dupe it. But the Blush Crush, I'm like, okay, I can easily dupe it, but I still fucking want it. Because
Yeah,
it's
I
so
can
pretty.
imagine. Yeah. It's honestly, because they're both neutral leaning palettes, I am sure you have both of them over and over again. But because it's Colourpop and they're affordable and the packaging is cute, I always feel also very like tempted by these kind of releases because I think, yeah, but like all the shades are all together and I will use it because they're all together. So it has a lot of appeal to it.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I have those shades, but like I don't have them with the roses packaging,
Exactly.
which is
Exactly.
dumb. It's dumb, but it's marketing.
Yeah. We are weak, honey. That's why we have YouTube channels for makeup.
God, yeah. We are slaves to capitalism and to the makeup market.
Yeah. It's thanks to us that they exist. All
So
right.
those Juvia's Place minis. God, those are so cute. Like they're so well done,
They are.
and I feel that they're really something different from what she previously put out.
Yeah. I think those are a brilliant move because they are smaller, they are small, cohesive color stories. They are different enough from each other. I think that is a fantastic release. And
It
at
is.
the price point of Juvia's Place, honestly, it's almost like it's very hard to resist the temptation, I can tell you.
Only reason why I'm not buying from Juvia's Place yet is because they keep getting themselves into drama, and I want none of that at the moment. But I think it's an excellent release.
Yeah. I don't, I don't keep up much with the drama in the community. So I do see this release and think of it as an incredibly smart and good release.
And I think my problem with Juvia's Place at the moment is that I'm like, on one hand, I'm too wise to pass judgment because it's a very racially tensioned type of drama that she's in,
Mm-hmm.
or she was in,
Mm-hmm.
and my black friends are still canceling her for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm inclined to actually listen to their voice and listen to them when they say that what she's done is problematic. But on the other hand, then I'm like feeling guilty because, well, we've forgiven other brands for similar shit, so why are we not moving past what Juvia's done?
Mm.
But then again, as I said, I think I'm too fucking white to pass judgment on whichever side, because whichever side it is, I'm in a net loss. Because on the other hand, I can say, oh, I'm judging a black-owned brand too harsh, a minority-owned brand too harsh, an
Mm.
indie brand at that. And on the other, I can say, okay, but if I don't judge them, then I'm ignoring the voices of my friends that are actually black saying that they've done problematic things.
Mm.
So what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm just gonna sit here, eat my food, and use the palettes that I already have from them and mind my business.
I think it's a complicated topic, and personally, at some point, I feel like I just don't have the time to go into the details of what each
Ah,
brand
that's
has
true.
done. It was very easy with Kat Von D because she said it herself, and it was something that I consider to be a very black and white situation. But with a lot of other brands, I just think, I don't have the time to look into all the details that people are referring to because I'm not someone who thinks just because person A said it, it's true. I need to go and look into the details myself. And since I don't have the time to do that, unless they commit an unforgivable crime, I'm going to continue purchasing from these brands. And at the point at which they commit an unforgivable crime for my standards, I'll be like, okay, let's chill.
I'm lucky because I'm so stupidly online all of the time, and I
You're
know all
much
of the
more informed
gossip.
than I am.
True. Up next, so we've got this bee palette.
I was just looking at that. Which brand is that? Let me take a look. Oh,
Guess. No, guess. Don't take a look. Guess. Try guess which brand it was because I couldn't.
I just saw who it is, and my jaw literally dropped. What?
I know, right? It's so
Seriously?
for
They're
people
putting out
watching.
something like this?
Yes, for people watching, it's Tarte from their sub brand. I think it's Sugar Rush. Yeah, their sub brand Sugar Rush, which is branded towards younger audiences.
Okay.
It,
Well,
it's
I'm
also
not
fucking
familiar
cute.
with this brand. I'm familiar with Tarte and the boring stuff they normally put out, so I'm a little bit flabbergasted because this is incredibly cute. It's supposed to be honey or bee inspired.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, maybe I'm not very familiar with bees or honey, but I don't associate many of these colors with bee or honey. But
Ah,
regardless,
I mean, if they would have just kept to the theme, it would have ended a clone of the Naked Honey. So I
that's
think it's good that
true.
they just did whatever they wanted.
That is true. That is true. But that being said, bravo, Tarte.
Yeah, finally, they're just doing something interesting. Who would have thunk it?
Whatever you're smoking, keep it up.
Next up, Fenty. Colored eyeliners. I literally couldn't care less, honestly.
Yeah, but I think Fenty is just trying to expand their range to include all the basics,
Oh yeah,
including
that's true. It's true. I
including
just
bleach.
personally don't care.
Yeah, neither do I, because they are so much more expensive than the stuff I can get at Kiko or the drugstore that probably does the same thing.
I know, right? I think we're so spoiled by Kiko
Oh,
because I often find myself being like, well, fuck those lip liners, fuck those lip glosses, fuck those eye pencils. Why pay
mhm.
much more when I could go and get them from Kiko? We're so
Yeah,
spoiled.
absolutely. I don't know whether people everywhere aside from Europe know how good Kiko is. Like, it's so fucking good. Just such an underrated brand, in my opinion. I wish people talked a lot more about Kiko. Also, my fault. I don't talk enough about Kiko.
Shame on you. Next, this ugly ass palette by Suva Beauty, which is a complete eyesore.
Oh, this hurts my eyes. What is this? This is the Suva Beauty palette, really?
Yeah, it's so ugly.
My goodness. Who came up with this? They should stop smoking whatever they're smoking.
I mean, I think the packaging hurts it so much because it's this garish taxi yellow. I think it would have looked much better if they kept like the outer so colorful and then the interior black or white to make the colors pop.
I don't quite understand why they needed to merge two clearly different palettes into one.
I don't know. I mean, I like the idea that you have the mattes on one side and then this quad of duochrome toppers, but I feel like the mattes just don't go with each other to save their lives.
No, and just visually speaking, this is very distracting, very unappealing, and I don't understand who thought this was a good idea. Yes, the white iridescent toppers seem to be a thing now. Absolutely, put them in, but not like this. And to me, this is just two palettes trying to be one,
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It just clashes. It's
or just like
ugly.
the left part with all those colors doesn't make any sense with the rest.
So there's this Sydney Grace palette, which is the Enduring Love. And what's really clever about this and what's really interesting is that Sydney Grace did two variants of the palette,
I
one
saw, yeah,
with lighter mattes, the other with deeper mattes. I think
yeah.
this is so clever.
It's just, being respectful to your customers and offering
Yeah.
variety. That's not to say that people of lighter skin tone cannot buy the deep palette, but it's like, okay, if you want something lighter because you're afraid of deeper colors, here you go. And if you have a deeper skin tone and you can't wear this, well, here you go. Sydney Grace strikes me as a professional, good indie brand, so I'm not surprised they're putting out something so clever.
God, yeah, and the owner is such a sweetheart. I follow her on Twitter. Like, I've never seen a bad interaction with her.
Mm.
She's so lovely, so supportive, so complimentary to other people. Like, she's really the prototype of what an indie business owner should be.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause she makes her makeup, minds her business,
Mm.
and does it well.
Just visually speaking, this is so beautifully done for an indie brand.
Oh yeah, that's like the packaging is really high quality.
Yes, yes, the packaging looks really beautiful. Yeah,
You know
I
what
have
I
not.
don't like? It's like when I look at it in the packaging, it doesn't inspire me. When I look at it swatched, especially how Angela Marie Tanner did it in the post that I sent you, I immediately want it.
Mm,
But when I look at it in the palette as it is, it doesn't appeal to me.
yeah, no, I like the idea of this palette, but color story wise, it doesn't attract me one bit.
I mean, it's got some really beautiful shades, but I feel that the way they are ordered doesn't really complement the beauty that truly is in it.
I don't really know what I would do with this color story if I have to be completely honest with you, because I see a lot of tones that would be difficult to combine, some that I wouldn't know what to combine with aside from a one color look with that one particular color. So color story wise, this is not something that I feel inspired by, or would know how to use. But I'm sure there are people out there who would enjoy it. And Sydney Grace is a solid brand, so A
Yeah,
for
the
effort.
quality is really good.
Yeah. Still waiting for Sydney Grace to release one of those palettes that really catches my attention, because I still haven't tried Sydney Grace and I would really like to, because I've heard only good things about the formula. But I don't want to buy single eyeshadows anymore, or minimize that to the minimum. And this palette, unfortunately, isn't it for me. Neither this nor the deep palette. But
True.
I really like the concept is great. It's not a color story that is trying to be something we've already seen before, it's different.
True. It's different, and it's also very true to the theme that they chose, which is literary couples.
Mm-hmm.
It's really well executed. Like, I can't fault it for my lack of inspiration regarding it. Indie palettes, Dominique Cosmetics, Latte 2, Mocha Scented.
Latte 2. The sequel.
The sequel,
But you know, sequels are never as good as the original.
I think this is cute though. Because it's got some cooler tones.
Yeah, it is actually a very interesting palette. If I may offer only one criticism for this palette is these two poppy colors here on the bottom. People who buy this palette are going to probably buy it for the neutrals and they would not know what to do with it.
Maybe, maybe not, because I would see someone that's more of a casual makeup wearer wearing the pink as a crease color, crease outer V, and then one of the shimmers on the lid. I think that's an easy look to do, even for someone that's not really into makeup. Same with the yellow. Maybe the blue might be harder to use for someone that's not a makeup obsessed connoisseur. But even so, it's one shade out of the rest. So if you get a good deal, whichever side of the spectrum you're on, whether you're just a casual makeup wearer, neutral loving, if you're a makeup veteran, you still get something new because there's these cooler tones in the neutral side of things.
For me, this palette is like, oh, this is so nice. It's neutral with a pop. And I know how to use the pop. But a lot of my friends, even if I tell them, oh, you know, you can use it in your inner corner, you can put it on your lower lash line, they're like, oh, no, it's too much, it's too much. So, and that's my only issue with this palette. But it really depends on who this is targeted to.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of green, so Bite Beauty is going all vegan, all green. They've rebranded, changed the packaging, removed everything from their shelves, and now look like Glossier with Millennium pink packaging.
I was quite shocked to find out that Bite Beauty had been doing all of this in the background because I forgot that they existed, honestly, because Bite Beauty is such a difficult brand for us in Europe to get.
Oh, yeah, true.
Difficult to get your hands on, not available. So for me, Bite was like, oh yeah, that brand exists as well. Sure. But I was quite surprised to hear that they've done this whole rebranding thing and they're going vegan and trendy and hipstery and not my kind of thing. Sorry.
I mean, I like the aesthetic, but I feel that they were so well known for the lip products that coming out first thing with a reformulated foundation, powder, and primer is a weird move.
True, but if they're trying to, if part of their rebranding is being more than just lipstick, I get it.
Yeah, fair, fair.
Yeah, and I think Sam Ravendal, she really liked this foundation, actually.
You know, I trust Sam's recommendation. I don't trust the fact that so many influencers are talking about the foundation at the same time. I'm Weezy with Anastasia Beverly Hills.
Oh boy, they released another palette.
Yeah, and this time it's bigger.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the first time I looked at the palette, and then I saw people commenting on, oh, this is bigger than their usual palettes, and I was like, oh yeah, that's true.
I think it's got like 4 shades or 2 shades extra.
Well, whatever. I've had enough of Anastasia's releases the past year. Also, this looks like Norvina, Modern Renaissance, and that pop of blue from Riviera. So,
and it's true, but then again, you have to consider that this is in collaboration with Amrezy, right? And she's a big Instagram personality. Yeah, the palette itself, from a makeup lover perspective, it's boring. If you have other ABH palettes, it's boring. But consider this, out of the 5.9 million people that follow Amrezy, there might be some that are not familiar with ABH or never bought ABH, and they will buy this because it's her palette, not because it's ABH.
That is true. If she's really that influential and so many people love her, I can imagine. I just wasn't aware of the extent of her fame.
Exactly. And then you can think, okay, so let's imagine that a couple million people buy this palette.
Mm-hmm.
Or a million even. A million out of 5.9.
Mm.
How many of them would be colorful makeup wearers? I don't think many. I think most of them
Fair enough.
would want to mimic her, and her style is quite neutral.
Mm-hmm.
So to
Yeah,
me, it makes sense that it's pinks, gold, neutral colors, and then maybe one pop of blue if they want to feel adventurous.
that's
It's
true.
boring to me, but it makes sense.
True. Yeah, for Amrisi herself, this looks very much on brand. And honestly, I personally quite enjoy the Anastasia Beverly Hills formula, both mattes and shimmers. Especially their shimmers have been killing it since the soft glam palette. So honestly, for Amrisi people out there, knock yourself out. This looks great. Great.
More Fenty, full frontal mascara.
Yeah, Fenty trying to do their thing and fill up their collection of products with all the necessary basics. They didn't have a mascara before, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mascara release is never going to be very exciting unless it promises to give you false lashes.
True. I mean, I'll take a look at what the reviews say, but right now I'm loving the Milk Kush mascara so much, and like my Lancome Monsieur Big, my Maybelline Snap Mascara, that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not that tempted to get it unless YouTube builds some hype up in me.
Um, and to be honest, I have tried high end mascaras, and I haven't really come to the point where I feel like the Kiko Extra Sculpt is any inferior to any of those other mascaras.
Coming
So
back to Kiko.
yeah. Oh my god, that mascara. Oh, I cannot say enough good things about the Kiko Extra Sculpt. That mascara gives you fucking length, volume, and false lashes. That's
Oh,
it.
I need to keep that in mind.
Absolutely. And it has the most beautiful packaging. Like stunning. I promise you, all of you, go look up the Kiko Extra Sculpt and tell me that it doesn't have the most beautiful packaging. I dare you.
So Tati came
Tati.
out with two pieces of Persian rug. It literally looks like my grandma's rug cut into blenders. It's called
So
Beautiful, and they come in a pack of two.
yeah,
Color.
my first reaction to this was like, what the fuck is this and who needs it? But in to be fair, it's my understanding that Tati herself uses that kind of crap a lot. So it's on brand for her, I guess.
I've seen people use it and demonstrate it in videos, in reviews, and honest reviews, and it looked nice. It gave a velvety, blurry finish to whatever it was applied with.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it, but the thing is, it to me it looks like it's a lazy release because people have been begging her for more makeup,
Mm-hmm.
and she comes out with one of these puffy things, cost very little to produce, and have the highest profit margins imaginable.
Mm. Well, let's not all forget Tati is a smart businesswoman.
True,
She knows what she's doing.
true.
And I think this is very much on brand with her. The only thing that strikes me as a bit um, moronic in there is I think she was marketing the release of this product as groundbreaking. I don't fucking know
My
what is
grandma was using
groundbreaking.
these. It's not fucking
Exactly.
groundbreaking.
Exactly. Maybe it was groundbreaking in the 20s, Tati, but not anymore.
Groundbreaking in the last century. Speak about something interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
we forgot to mention the MAC Lunar New Year collection, and I am in awe. My inner hoarder just wants to have 100 of these highlighters and all of the lipsticks
Yeah,
because
MAC
it's
kills
so
it
beautiful.
always. Yeah. MAC is one of the brands that has had these like Lunar New Year releases for quite a few years now, and they always kill it with the packaging.
Yeah, I mean it's so unique looking, and it does look like they try. I mean, and that dragon embossing, I just dream of using that highlighter till I erode the embossing down.
Yeah, and it's probably a gorgeous highlighter. Is it one of their extra dimension ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an extra dimension. Oh, this is going to be gorgeous.
Oh, I hope they bring it in stores here.
It's probably one of the best, if not the best, Lunar New
Yeah.
Year release that I've seen so far.
It's the most well thought of, the most unique, the most to do it doing its own thing.
Yeah. This is something with the actual holiday in thought and in some more respectful way towards the people who are going to enjoy it and to whom this is targeted.
Yeah, and not just like let's slap a rat on it, mouse, whatever it is, and the color red, and that's it. Here's our collection. Have fun.
Yeah, it's not like blatant marketing ploys that we can see right through. It's a bit more sophisticated, a bit more, hey, we're doing this for you.
Thanks. Okay. Fenty Beauty on the go snap palettes. What do we think of those?
Love them. Love that they are small. They offer a variety of different color stories. Some of them look a bit more like each other than others, but that neutral, cool color story, gorgeous. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And if I didn't have so much eyeshadow, I would get it. But as is, I am really not interested. Because I already have everything.
Neither of these palettes actually speaks to me, but I think it is super cool. She's coming out with a variety of small palettes, so everyone can pick and choose what suits them and their personal taste. And it's compact. I just love this release. There's nothing more I can say about it.
She's really padding out her offering, as you said, because in the eyeshadow department, they always got mediocre reviews. Talk about the Neve Cosmetics and we're done.
Let's.
So they've got this new Star System cream blush formula, and it's in a little tube. And I really like the colors of these. The problem is that they also came out with some primers in the same tube, and the amount was really tiny for how the packaging was. So I'm worried about waste.
Okay. Oh, that's a shame because this looks so nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's so beautiful, such beautiful colors. I mean, I would definitely try strawberry, elderflower, candy philosophy, everything except bloomerang, which looks too dark for me. But I think it's so pretty. Yeah. I'm just afraid that the packaging is mostly air.
That is a shame. Because this looks like a really interesting release. I've been getting a bit more into like cream products and stick products, and I would have been really interested to try this.
It's so pretty. I'll add it to my wish list and start considering it.
Maybe we can tell based on how much product it contains. Probably somewhere it will say how much product it contains, and you can compare to that primer, and if it's the same, then we know.
Yeah, I should check out their site. That's a great idea, actually.
Because as a release, I really like this. I actually hope more brands are going to come up with, interesting liquid, cream, stick formulations, because those are lacking a little bit on the market, I feel like.
Yeah, they look much more natural, but they're not as often occurring, especially in the drugstore or indie formulations. You just see a lot of fancy schmancy brands doing them.
Yeah, true.
I trust Neve Cosmetics with everything but their eyeshadows.
Honestly, I don't have experience with them besides the eye pencil you gave me, which, by the way, is gorgeous. I use it all the time.
I know. I love their eye pencils and lip pencils. They're great stuff.
And also, I'm always happy to support a European brand.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice because you shop close to home, and the more you shop close to home, the more European and indie brands will pop up.
Yeah.
Because there's a market for them.
I'm happy to see that. I'm rooting for Neve, for Nabla, for Lito, for all of these little European brands that have popped up in the past few years. I really hope that more of these appear.
True. I want to see a true Romanian indie makeup brand at a certain point. We've got like pigment sellers, but I'm not sure if they're doing the pigment in-house.
Yeah, with eyeshadows, it's especially if it's loose pigments, it's very tricky. You have to go and check formulations and ingredients to make sure that they're not just, repackaged mica.
Yeah, it's a big chance that it's just repackaged mica. Yeah. I'm really hoping we one day will get just our own little Nabla, We are done. We are done with the first releases of this year and a bit of December, actually. It's been a long run, but we made it to the finish line.
Yeah. It's been overwhelming, and I must say it seems like we are not anytime going to slow down, because if even brands like Pat McGrath are joining Colourpop in releasing something every 40 minutes,
Oh
we are
God,
in
and
for
it's
trouble.
not okay with her price point. Like Colourpop can do it because their palettes are $12, not 60 or whatever pats are. How much we talked and how much we skipped. Like we skipped talking so much stuff and we've still been here 2 hours and something just
Yeah,
talking.
yeah,
It's crazy.
it's just what, a month worth of releases or something.
Not even 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
It's
That's insane.
nuts. It's just too much.
Well, if they're releasing stuff this often, it means that we want it. There's
Yeah,
people
people
buying
are
it.
buying, clearly.
So the only thing we can do is reel up a bit ourselves and stop ourselves from being interested or jumping on every new release. Honestly, I'm really tired.
Yeah, same. And I mean, that's why I started the vanity budget because I felt myself getting tired. My magpie brain was pushing me on buying stuff because it's pretty and it's sparkly and it's shiny.
Mm-hmm.
But so I had to artificially limit myself and put a limit
Mm-hmm.
because like financially I'm doing fine. I can get all of the stuff that I want. And I certainly have enough space, but I don't want to be that person that just buys because it's pretty for the sake of buying.
So true. I'm so with you. And I've already been in that mode since last year. And I think, except for my weakness for Pat McGrath, I've managed to stay off a lot of releases that normally I would have been all over. But I really, this year, I just want to enjoy what I have, because I have so many beautiful things that I need to enjoy before I bring new ones in.
True, and I mean, I sometimes look at my vanity and at things that maybe I haven't used as much, and I get sad because I'm like, but I'm not respecting all of these beautiful things. And what point is it in having beautiful things if they're sitting there collecting dust?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And if I compare my collection to other people's in the beauty community, like mine is
Peanuts.
fine. It's
It's,
it's
it's
it's downright tiny compared to how many palettes other people have.
for sure, for sure. But at the same time, I honestly feel stressed when I think about people's collections sometimes and the amount of eyeshadow palettes that they own. I just don't know whether they ever get to use these eyeshadow palettes more than like once or twice.
Let them have it, you know? I mean, I try not to have any strong feelings one way or the other. I try to have strong feelings towards my own internal perception and my own experience because their life, their money, their circus, their monkeys, not my business.
True.
I'm not gonna exert energy over things that don't personally affect me because I don't have the available brain cells to do that too.
Yeah, true. I try not to be judgmental, especially in terms of how people spend their money, because maybe, to someone who has less means than me, they're like, well, how the fuck do you buy every Pat McGrath palette? So I get it. We shouldn't judge each other for buying what makes us happy, because yeah, I buy a Pat McGrath palette, but I don't really go on many holidays per year, so it's all relative. So if they want to spend their money, their hard-earned money, on all the new makeup releases, cool, I'm fine with it. The mindset, like, life is a bitch and then you die.
Yes, exactly. And I might at least could just cover myself in duochrome shadows while I'm at it before I'm dead. Guys, thank everyone for watching. Thank Mir so much for joining me. I appreciate you and I appreciate your commentary. And everyone, please leave your comments and opinions down below. Would love to hear them.
Thanks so much for having me. Goodbye, guys. Enjoy all the new makeup releases, and don't forget, you don't need most of them.
Bye, everyone. Bye.